In today's video, we're going to dive deeper into the evolving weather pattern. We'll begin by examining current atmospheric conditions, and then break down the series of approaching storms steadily pushing their way in. Multiple potent cold fronts are expected to sweep through, each carrying significant moisture and producing widespread precipitation, something we've been anticipating for quite some time now. We're also tracking the potential development of one or even two additional coastal systems, possibly classic nor'easter-type storms looming on the horizon now. Here's what makes this setup even more intriguing. We have an ongoing clash between cooler air masses pressing southward and surges of warmer air lifting north, as indicated by the latest temperature model guidance. And I'll be completely honest, based on everything I've seen so far, I don't think the models have a firm grasp on this upcoming pattern yet. There has been noticeable inconsistency, not so much with the temperature outlook, which has shown a bit more stability, but especially with the precipitation signals. Model runs have been flip-flopping. We'll break down those challenges later on because they do make long-range forecasting a little more complex this time. But first, let's take a closer look at current conditions. We're already seeing multiple zones of precipitation across the country. There's a stronger low-pressure system spinning over the southwest, delivering unsettled weather across that region. Meanwhile, a concentrated area of heavier, more persistent rainfall is moving through parts of the upper Midwest. Portions of Maine are dealing with coastal showers, and scattered thunderstorms are also flaring up across the south-central states. So, let's break those regions down one by one. Starting in the southwest, we're monitoring a very dynamic system. You'll notice three distinct low-pressure centers appearing on the map, signaling a broad, disorganized, but active storm complex. There's a clear circulation visible, and rising motion to the east, a classic setup for widespread storminess, especially impacting central California. Faster-moving bands of showers are sweeping into Southern California and Southern Nevada as well. Altogether, it's a messy and rather aggressive system. Now shifting to the south-central states, scattered storms and showers continue across New Mexico, Texas, Oklahoma, and Kansas. Nothing overly severe right now, but it's enough to bring periods of downpours and rumbles of thunder. Up in the north-central U.S., we're tracking a larger shield of rain affecting South Dakota, Iowa, Minnesota, Wisconsin, and even parts of Michigan's Upper Peninsula. Most of this is standard rainfall with minimal thunder. But some areas, especially around Minneapolis and into central and western Wisconsin, are seeing heavier shower activity. Let's also touch quickly on Maine. A narrow band of coastal rainfall continues to slide from north to south, wrapping up what has been a soggy stretch along parts of the East Coast over the past few days. Now it's time to move ahead into the model guidance to see what lies ahead. Starting tomorrow, Wednesday the 15th, we see this zone of storminess beginning to organize more efficiently. Snow begins to fall in higher elevations including the Sierra Nevada and sections of the Rockies, while rain dominates elsewhere. The general setup still looks fairly routine through midweek, but by Thursday the 16th, things ramp up again. Widespread precipitation spreads across the Rockies, northern plains, and upper Midwest. A pair of interacting low-pressure centers helps organize this system, behaving almost like a warm front-cold front pattern. Cooler air funnels southward, producing more high-elevation snow in the Rockies, while warmer air lifts northward ahead of the boundary, fueling rain across the plains. Meanwhile, a backdoor cold front begins slipping in from the northeast, a reversal of the typical northwest to southeast cold front progression, heading into Friday the 17th. That low-pressure system pushes into south-central Canada, dragging a cold front across much of the plains and Midwest. A warm front sets up north of the Great Lakes, and scattered rain persists in the northwest. Moist, unstable air from the Gulf is lifting north into the south-central states, sparking thunderstorms, though nothing too extreme at this stage. by Saturday, the 18th. The system strengthens and becomes more defined, pulling a strong cold front behind it and a warm front ahead of it. This creates a classic warm sector, a temporary surge of warmer, humid air before the cold front sweeps through with a sharp drop in temperatures and much drier conditions behind it. And right here, something interesting begins to happen. We start to see signs of a positive PNA, Pacific North American pattern developing, which could have major implications for the long-range setup. You guys hear me mention this frequently? And once again, we're seeing a ridge, firmly establishing itself over the west. We also have another ridge building along the east coast, which means the only available path for incoming cold air is to spill southward into the central us and eventually sweep eastward behind a line of showers and thunderstorms trailing along the advancing cold front. By Sunday the 19th, this system begins shifting east. Our low-pressure center positions itself somewhere between Hudson Bay and the Great Lakes, dragging a cold front underneath as it pushes toward the eastern states. Meanwhile, both the northwest and parts of southwestern Canada will be dealing with a blend of rain and snow, largely dependent on elevation. This region out west is extremely meteorologically active, with its complex terrain from high mountain ranges to coastal zones, from arid deserts to near rainforest climates, making storms here chaotic and difficult to analyze. This complex topography breeds messy, hard two-track storm systems. Between Sunday and Monday, we'll see that cold front accelerate dramatically. Throughout Sunday, it holds a steady eastward motion, but as soon as we move into Monday, it surges rapidly, racing off the map before we even reach Monday afternoon. By that time, the main region still experiencing heavy rainfall will be the northeast, where persistent showers continue. Up in the northwest, snow intensifies across the Cascades, parts of Nevada, and the northern Rockies as colder air plunges southward into the western U.S. at the same time. A ridge rebuilds over the central U.S., creating a dramatic back-and-forth pattern, a true weather roller coaster. By Tuesday, the 21st, a 991 MB low-pressure system develops between Iowa and Minnesota with a trailing swath of precipitation. The jet stream takes on a classic setup, a trough in the west and a ridge in the east. That means colder, snowier conditions dominate the Rockies, while the east experiences warmer, more humid weather than normal. Then things escalate quickly. We see the birth of a potential nor'easter, believe it or not. Many of these storms originate in the deep south. A lot of people don't realize this, but energy often gathers here first. A piece of energy dives in along the jet stream, while moisture surges north from the Gulf of Mexico, merging together into one major storm system, just like what models are showing. This system then rides up the east coast, potentially intensifying along the way. As that unfolds, another major trough quickly shifts from west to east, and a ridge rebuilds again over the west, heading into the weekend of the 24th, 26th. Then we warm up slightly, but not for long, because yet another coastal low tries to form along the east coast, hinting at a second nor'easter-type system. And up in the northwest, the storm parade continues straight through the end of the model run. Now, let's talk precipitation, totals, and this is where things get messy fast. This is exactly what I mentioned earlier. The models are all over the place. Yesterday, they showed almost no precipitation in the deep south and heavy precipitation in the northeast. Today, complete reversal. Now we're seeing increased precipitation in the deep south and southeast and almost nothing across large parts of the mid-Atlantic and northeast. Total flip. Overnight, that's why I've been holding back on making any bold statements about the long-range pattern. We're at a critical turning point, and I think we're about to transition into a new pattern entirely. Lately, we've been stuck in Groundhog Day mode, repeating the same pattern day after day. Honestly, it gets exhausting covering the same setup in daily videos. But change is finally coming. The Northwest and North Central U.S. have remained very consistent with ongoing activity. But it's the Eastern U.S. that's a total wild card right now. Looking at precipitation anomalies makes that even clearer. Yesterday's below-average zone is now above average. And what was above average yesterday is now below average. Total model reversal. And remember, these wild swings are happening in the medium to long range, where models tend to struggle the most. Now for total snowfall over the full model run. One thing has stayed rock-solid heavy. Accumulating snow continues for the Cascades, Sierra Nevada, and the Rockies. These regions will likely see a foot or more of snow, with multiple feet possible in higher elevations. This is the first big snowfall peak of the year for these mountain ranges. Fall brings the first snow surge, while spring delivers the second one later in the season. Thank you guys. See you tomorrow.